October 3rd, 1953. 5 men secretly crossed the border from communist Czechoslovakia into East Germany, also under communist rule. They are the Mašín brothers group, determined to reach West Berlin, then controlled by the Americans. Their goal is to join the US Army and fight against communism. They have already carried out several bloody operations, and more are about to follow. Unknowingly, they are writing one of the most extraordinary stories of post-war European history. To understand the story, we must begin with the Mašín brothers' father. This is Josef Mašín Sr., a World War I legionnaire and later a hero of the Czech resistance against the Nazis. During the war, he was a member of an underground group known as the Three Kings, and with his bravery and boldness he drove the Gestapo to despair. In the end, he was captured and in June 1942 executed. Before his death, he managed to send a message to his children, which read, "I fought for your beloved homeland. I did not want to allow you to one day become enslaved, but rather to remain free citizens. Remember that defending the freedom of your country and your nation is the duty of every conscious Czech. One day, you must do the same." Cut to 1948. In Czechoslovakia, the communists seize power and brutally suppress the opposition. World War II resistance fighters suddenly fall out of favor, and the Mašín family sees their friends disappear into prisons or end up at the gallows. The sons, Ctirad and Josef, now 22 and 19 years old, are clear about one thing. The communists have declared war on their own people, and they will join that fight. First mission, get weapons. They already have some hidden from the war, but they want more. They gather a group of like-minded friends, and after a series of smaller sabotage actions, in June 1951, they raid a police station in Chlumec nad Cidlinou. The operation is a failure. They steal no weapons, and when they are unable to knock out the only officer on duty, Oldřich Kašík, Josef Mašín shoots him dead. This is how he will remember the moment 50 years later.
My jsme mysleli, že ještě nahoře v prvním poschodí v Chlumci, že jsou ještě další, bylo to v noci, policie SNBáci, a tak jsme měli obavu, že nás tam v této situaci přepadnou, tak já jsem 2krát na něj vystřelil, na toho SNBáka, a zastřelil jsem ho tam.
The operation showed that the young men had no hesitation. 2 weeks later, they raid another police station, this time in Čelakovice. There, they manage to steal weapons, but the outcome is even bloodier. Ctirad Mašín renders local officer Jaroslav Honzátko unconscious with chloroform, ties his hands, and while the officer is still unconscious, slits his throat with a knife.
To, že jsme chtěli jenom nějak zbraně, jak se taky píše, a to, že jo, a nikomu nic neudělat, to je hloupost. Jsme si říkali, tohle jsou všechno darebáci, a na co potřebujeme zbraně? Zbraně jsou na to, aby se stříleli s těm lidi. No tak můžeme rovnou začít se zabíjením těch, kterým ty zbraně veme.
The situation becomes more complicated when Ctirad Mašín is arrested for planning an illegal border crossing to the west. Even under torture, investigators fail to uncover his involvement in the police station killings and sentence him to 2.5 years in the uranium mines of Jáchymov. In the meantime, the rest of the group decides to get money to help free him. In August 1952, they ambush a car near Čáslav, transporting wages for workers at the local foundry. They steal nearly 900,000 crowns and leave behind another dead man, accountant Josef Rošický, a 54-year-old father with 1 child. It later turns out they won't need the stolen money for Ctirad's release, as he is freed in the meantime thanks to an amnesty. The group members instead use the money to buy motorcycles, new clothes, and household items. They soon realize that things are heating up and decide it's time to leave for the West. Their plan is to join the American army and receive training, so they can return to Czechoslovakia as sabotage agents. The idea of escaping through the south border into West Germany is immediately rejected because it is heavily guarded. They believe it will be easier to cross Soviet-occupied East Germany and reach West Berlin, which at the time was not yet divided from the rest of the world by a wall. So here we are on October 3rd, 1953, with 5 men making their way through the mountains into East Germany. Who's on the journey? Ctirad Mašín, 23 years old. His brother Josef, 21. Both tough and determined. Milan Palmer, 22, a childhood friend of the Mašíns. Václav Švéda, a bit older, already has a wife and 2 kids. He is the only one who speaks German. And Zbyněk Janata, whom the Mašíns considered unpredictable, so they left him unarmed. The others carry handguns, a compass, not very warm clothing, though it has already started snowing, and only a rough map of Germany torn from a magazine. They have 250 kilometers ahead of them and believe they'll reach Berlin in 7 days without trouble, but they are gravely mistaken. They travel only at night, hiding in the forest during the day. But it's cold, it keeps raining, and soon they are hungry and have no money to buy food. They live off what they can pick from trees or find in fields. They try selling watches or sweaters, break into village barns. After a week of struggling, they gather enough money for a night train ride to the town of Overthrow, about 100 kilometers from Berlin. That's when the problems begin. They already draw attention at the station in Elsterwerda, where they board the train, and in Overthrow, a squad of East German police is waiting. The 5 escapees open fire in the station hallway and literally shoot their way out. They kill 2 Germans, wound another, and run out through the right side of the staircase. But Zbyněk Janata, in the confusion, runs left and becomes separated from the group. He is caught the next day, tortured, and the Germans now have the names and faces of the Czech fugitives. A full-scale manhunt is launched. In the coming days, up to 20,000 East German police and Soviet soldiers will join the search. The remaining 4 manage to hide for a few days in a nearby barn, but they are discovered and have to keep running. Several times they narrowly escape the ever-present patrols. The net tightens until they find themselves completely surrounded in a small forest near the village of Waldo. It seems like a hopeless situation. Ctirad manages to shoot 2 Germans from an ambush, but in the returning fire, another member of the group, Václav Švéda, is wounded. Even with this serious injury, they decide to break through the encirclement. They run across a field toward the next forest in a hail of bullets, and miraculously are not hit. But on the other side, the badly injured Švéda can go no further. The next day the Germans find him there and together with the already captured Janata, hand him over to Czechoslovakia. The remaining 3 once again find themselves completely trapped in another small forest. They are surrounded. They save themselves by digging a hole under a pile of felled wood and hiding in it for 4 full days.
Byla to fuška, byla to díra pro jednoho, kde jsme byli 3 potom. Pak, jak jsem říkal, nemohli jsme jít ani na záchod tam. Když někdo chtěl na záchod, tak to byl velký pořad otočit a stáhnout. 2 stahovali jednomu kalhoty, pač jinak to nešlo.
Once again, as if by miracle, they are not discovered. And when the encirclement ends, all 3 push on toward Berlin. After more shootouts, they finally slip into West Berlin on a freight train carrying potatoes and report to the American army. What was supposed to take a week ends up taking a month, and they have lost 2 friends. As they will soon find out, that was far from the end. And so ends one of the great stories of the Cold War. A story that, even after decades, stirs passions and sparks endless debate. To some, the Mašíns are heroes who accomplished something incredible and humiliated the security forces of 2 communist countries like no one else. To others, they are nothing more than cold-blooded killers, because the way they executed a defenseless drugged policeman and a low-level civilian accountant is, they say, beyond excuse. Perhaps the only thing both sides can agree on is that the story of the Mašín brothers is still alive today.